Today on Dad Hut, we're taking a look at this guy, the DJI Mini 2. Who is this drone for? Is it worth buying? Let's find out. What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe so you don't ever miss a Dad Hut video. Today we're going to be looking at the DJI Mini 2. We're going to be taking a look at its features, how it kind of compares to some of the other drones out there in the market, and who this drone is for, and whether or not I think it's worth its price tag. So let's hop right into it. All right, so let's talk about the size. I mean, because that's the thing that's really going to stand out with this DJI Mini 2. And that is how small it is. I mean, look at this here in my hand. Like, it is tiny. Obviously, that's folded up, but even unfolding it, I mean, it's not like it gets much bigger than that. The big thing, though, is that it's under 249 grams in weight, which means you do not need to have a license or register this drone to fly it, which is a huge selling point for this drone. If you go into, Canada or anywhere in the United States, if you're going to fly a drone, you need to have it registered and you need to have a license. I think it might cost like $5, or even if it's free, you got to at least, get a license to do that. Whereas with this, because of its weight, it is just under that 250. You don't need anything. You can just pick up and go and not have to worry about any legal ramifications for flying a drone. Not that you're probably going to get in trouble for flying a drone as long as you're doing it properly, but it is one less thing you have to worry about, registering a drone, having your number on it, and going out and getting a license. Huge selling point for this drone. So I am not new to drones. I owned the Phantom 3, then I upgraded to the first Mavic Pro, and now I am getting the DJI Mini 2. There are things I liked about all of them, and there's some things I don't like about all of them, but ultimately what is important to me is the size. So I know, there's going to be people who do professional work. They're going to need a certain camera. They're going to need certain, depth of field, and, they're going to be color correcting and things like that. For someone like me, this 4K footage that is coming out of the DJI Mini 2 is just amazing on its own, and I don't do anything to the video anyways, so it is perfect for me and it works for me. And ultimately, the smaller the better. I don't want to get too small to where it can't handle the wind and things like that, but this, I have had no problems with it. It is super sturdy, just as sturdy as the Phantoms back in the day, just as sturdy as my Mavic Pro that I got probably 4 years ago. This is just as good as them, actually better now, because the video has improved so much over time, and it's half the size. I mean, it's so small. I also did a sound test on this. A lot of people are saying how quiet it is. Yes, it is quieter compared to, the old Phantoms or to even the Mavic Pros, but I did a whole video, and I'll link it here, and I'll link it down in the description of the video as well, about how high right above my head can I hear this drone. And spoiler alert, it was about 250 feet above me to where I couldn't hear it in complete silence. If you're somewhere off in a crowd or something like that, you're probably going to be able to fly it a lot lower with nobody hearing it. But in complete silence, you're looking at about 250 feet in the air, so you can no longer hear the drone right above your head. So that's something to think about for you. It is quieter than the other drones, but it's not like, it's not like invisible like some of the other YouTubers and reviews are saying. You can definitely still hear it. And like I said, check out that video if you want to, see it for yourself. Ultimately, I think this drone is for experts and beginners. I think you can't really go wrong. I'm not going to sit here and call it a beginner's drone, and that's for one kind of major reason, and that's that there's only one sensor on the bottom. If you're a true beginner, you're probably going to want a drone with sensors all over it, front, sides, backs, bottoms, so that you have that detection while you're learning. These are not super hard to learn how to fly anyways, but if you are a true beginner, I wouldn't say this is necessarily a beginner drone for you, because it only has that one sensor on the bottom, like I said, and I actually ran it into a tree, a small tree. It's the first time ever in my life I have actually hit something with a drone. and I'm going to show you the clip right now. I was following this Jeep, our car, trying to get some footage of it. And there was just these little trees in the parking lot. Wasn't paying attention, got too focused on what the car was doing. Flew right into it. It didn't crash. It stayed hovering. The camera kind of got a little wonky on it. I immediately landed it, reset the compass, and it worked perfectly fine. Didn't run into any propeller damage or no physical damage on the drone either. So it can take a little bit of a beating for sure. I mean, it feels very hollow and plasticky, but I did hit it, you know, a tree branch at about probably 15 miles an hour, and it did just fine. I wouldn't recommend running into anything with it, but it was able to handle it. So DJI is kind of in this GoPro kind of market where they end up like making their products so good that you won't have to buy another one of their products for a long time. So it's kind of like when I say a GoPro, if you bought like a GoPro 7, there's not really much of a difference between the 8 and the 6 and the 9 that'll be coming out, or the 10. I mean, you can pretty much keep that GoPro for a long time. And same thing with this. You buy a DJI Mini 2, you are probably going to be all set on drones for many, many years, if not forever. You know, it really depends on, you know, where technology goes and, you know, your use of the drone. But you know, each iteration is not like leaps and bounds above, you know, the other ones, especially, you know, with this now shooting the 4K. You know, I think 8K is going to be a long time from now, at least a normal thing for 8K, where like, you know, we're editing videos and watching it on our TVs. You know, some people haven't even got to 4K yet. So I think they're kind of in that same little situation where, you know, once you buy one of their drones, there's no reason to get another one. If you own a Mavic Pro already and you are totally okay with it, you don't mind the size or anything else, there's no reason to get this drone or any other drone. If you own the DJI Mavic Mini, again, if you love it, it's a little bit bigger than this, but it's basically, you know, the same thing minus here or there some small features. You know, what they did to this Mini 2 is they took out some of the, you know, tracking. You know, you can't track a subject. I think there's some internal storage in like the Mini Mavic, whereas this one, you know, you got to put your micro SD card in. But for the most part, I mean, you know, they're kind of the same, minus some small features here and there, and most of the features are something that I don't use. But, you know, that might be different for your situation. If you need tracking, then, you know, you're going to need to get the, you know, at least the Mavic Mini. So I did get the Fly More package, which obviously came with the drone. It also came with the 2 extra batteries, so I got 3 total, and this cool little charger that you just plug it in and it charges all 3 batteries for you. Battery life on this is right around 30 minutes. Also in the kit, obviously, is the controller, which is kind of the biggest con. There's a motorcycle. All right. Also, what comes with it is obviously the controller. This is kind of a con, I would say. It feels good. It's a comfortable controller, but it's big. It's bigger than the actual drone. So, you know, you do need to carry this around to fly the drone. So you can't just be like, well, I'm just, you know, look how small my drone is. You got to carry this too. It's not a deal breaker or anything like that. It's not way bigger than like my old Mavic Pro's controller, but you know, it is bigger than the drone and it's heavier than the drone. So it's just something to think about. You do got to actually carry the controller too, but it feels good in the hand. It's a very well-made controller. Haven't had any issues with that. It also came with a little carrying case as well in the Fly More package. I would suggest you get the Fly More package just because of the batteries alone, but you don't need to. If you want just one battery and that's going to work for you, you're never going to fly more than 30 minutes at a time, then, you know, you don't necessarily need it. I did fly the drone as far away as I have ever flown a drone, and that was about a mile away from me, so a little, right around 5,000 feet away. I know, you know, not quite a mile, but pretty far away. It went about 18 miles an hour the whole way there, and I was in normal mode, not in sport mode or cine mode or anything like that, just in normal mode. Wind wasn't really too bad. It had full signal the whole time. I think I lost about 20% battery just to get that far away, and that was about as far away as I wanted to take it. I could keep going, no problem. I think the only way you're gonna probably run out of room is by battery life. You know, you're gonna hit 50% somewhere, and you're gonna need the other 50% to get back. So I don't think you're gonna hit the range, the max range on this thing. You know, just due to, you know, you're going to outrun the battery well before I think you run out of range of the drone. But it is cool to be able to just say, hey, listen, I need to go a mile away from where I am. And, you know, you can get there in, you know, I don't know, 3 minutes, 4 minutes maybe. So the drone does move pretty quick. And I was surprised. Not one bar was lost on the signal between the controller and the drone at almost a mile away. Can't ask for anything more with that. Okay, so ultimately, you know, you can see by the footage, I think it looks great. The 4K footage is great. That's all I need for home videos, YouTube and travel videos and things like that. You know, if you're a professional, maybe you need something more. But I think you cannot go wrong with this drone, especially at its price point compared to some of the others. This is your cheapest way to get in the door at that 4K, and it's, you know, made by DJI, so you know, the company, well, the customer service isn't the greatest. You know, they make good products. So yeah, I think if you're a beginner, go for it. If you're an expert and you want a smaller drone, you're tired of lugging around a big drone. I mean, I remember when the Phantoms came out and it was like, these are awesome. And then, you know, the Mavic came out. I was like, oh, this folds up. Nobody will ever buy a Phantom again. And now they're making them even smaller. I mean, it really is great. So I think if you're looking for a drone that, you know, can just fit in your pocket, literally can fit in your pocket, I mean, you cannot go wrong with the Mini 2. So, you know, that's my thoughts. You can see some footage here, you know, showed you all throughout the video of what I think it can do and what it looks like. And those are my opinions. I definitely say pick it up if you're in the market for a new drone. You probably won't need another one after getting this one for many years. And yeah, if you like this video, if it helped you out at all, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for all future Dad Hut videos. I'll see you on the next one, guys.